Good afternoon to one and all. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 11th edition of Able Talk. As you all know, Able Talk was on a break for 3 weeks and we begin today afresh. As always, a little about our very own Ableora. Ableora had its marquee event, the Aura Speaks event, on July 16th at Sri Mutta Venkateswara Auditorium, and the event was an astounding success. We had many inspirational stories shared to a live audience. The entire first edition of Aura Speaks is available on our YouTube channel. Please do visit and give your feedback. And on the anvil, we have very many activities planned in the next upcoming months. One is the home empowerment services that we are going to offer at your doorstep. In-person services like physical exercises, sports activities, etc. Then we have a accessible trip in the offing to Wayanad, and this is going to be on next month, 18th of next month. We are going to have this accessible trip to Wayanad, and we are going to very shortly inaugurate our social interaction center where children and young adults with disabilities can improve their social skills, their soft skills, and learn a lot about being themselves and being the best version of themselves. Thank you. With no further ado, let me introduce our guest speaker for today, Mrs. Mallika Ganapathy, an educational consultant, a special educator with over 32 years of experience. She has dedicated herself to the cause of inclusive education of people with disabilities, children with disabilities, and she is the director of MIRA, and in her organization she has an initiative called Abvidhi, which caters to the cause of inclusion. She has authored many chapters in books relating to capacity building. She is into teacher training. She has worked with administrators on making educational policies. She has worked in very many schools in the rural and urban setup. Ma'am, it's a great pleasure to welcome you to this forum and to our audience today, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Archana, for the lengthy introduction. One small change is I was the director of Mira Trust. Now I'm a friend and a trust. I'm a friend and a well-wisher of Mira Trust.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the change. Otherwise, yes, I decided that I work with schools because only then inclusion can be a little bit more successful. Working from outside doesn't help. You have to work with them as part of the school and general education process. Yeah, thank you so much for your introduction. And basically I chose this topic today because that's a big question in all our minds. What when my son or daughter becomes an adult? How do I work on independence, working towards independence? So that's the reason I chose this topic. I was recently reading some, one article about who an adult is, definition of an adult in one of the sites. And I was surprised to see children define adults as older, authoritative, decisive, and doubt-free. That's what they felt were characteristic of adults. And they have been different definitions. Some of them felt being married and responsible for children and the family is an adult. And some of them, in our legally, if you see, age, chronological age, when you can vote and get married, 18 or 21, then you suddenly you become an adult. And when I was listening to that, your speech, Aura speaks, all the speakers, they spoke about self-awareness, identity, and self-love. They said that's what gave them the courage, to fight against all odds and move on with their life. I think that's a very, very interesting area to look into. And if we look at who are adults, we can say that one person who's aware of himself, his strengths and weakness. All of us are a combination of strengths and weakness, right? Aware of your strengths and weakness, accept yourself for who you are. Yeah, I am who I am. Okay, I'm not very successful here, but I have these strengths. So being aware of one's strengths and weakness, accepting who you are, being very decisive and taking responsibility for one's action. You could say that that person is an adult. It's very tricky. It's a complex definition, right? But it's a long journey. You start preparing for adulthood from the time you're born. It's not something which magically appears suddenly. It is a long journey, and we all go through that. Some of them are very important fundamental requisites or prerequisites for you to grow into adulthood. Sorry, can some of you all switch on your videos? I feel so funny just talking to the blank screen. I'd like to see your faces.
I would request members to please switch on your screens.
Yeah, I know, but I need to see faces otherwise. Yeah. So basically, from young you need to have emotional and social security. It's very, very important. And all the speakers also spoke about parents are the ones who provide that emotional and social security for our children. That's extremely important. And the second one is you have to feel understood and valued and respected. That again is very important. Being understood by others. Most of the time we get into frustration when someone doesn't understand us. So you too, you don't understand me. So understanding, respecting and valuing. And second, very simple competencies. We're not looking at great competencies of engage with people. Not be a big social circle, but at least a small family circle and close friends. Engage with people. A few activities which you think you like to engage in. A few activities. And also face uncertainties. Your life is full of uncertainty. You should have the ability and the resilience to adapt and go ahead with life in spite of uncertainties. Like Rohit's mom was talking about Corona. COVID through the whole world, not just us, the whole world. And we lost quite a few people who couldn't handle it. Forget about the disease, but even ones who couldn't emotionally handle it. Being locked up in a house in their room for 2 years is not a joke, right? It was scary. It was lots of fear was there. But we bounced back. That is a very important sign of an adulthood. Children have natural resilience, but doing it with awareness is a very good quality of an adulthood. We bounce back in spite of all the issues that we are facing today. Okay, this is what an adulthood is. It is a very complex task. It's not something easy. And who's responsible? We are responsible as parents to give our children the space and the opportunity to become an adult from a very young age. We are the ones who are responsible. But it's not easy. I mean, I'm a parent too. We tend to protect our children. And we have a difficulty letting them go. Especially in India, Even when I was 50, I was still a child, for my mother and for my older siblings. They will always consider me as a younger, as a child and not as an adult. So it's basically who we are. It's difficult to let go of our children. I remember I had such a great difficulty allowing my child to, go in a two-wheeler to school. I prefer to drop her and pick her up because I'm scared. I wanted to protect her. If this is so with so-called neurotypical children, what about our children? They at least at some age, when they are in high school, they rebel, they resist, and they demand independence. They move away from us and they go start living on their own and they learn towards adulthood. And when we see them coping with adulthood efficiently, we are okay with this independence. We feel, okay, he's safe, he can carry on. But with our children with differential needs, it's a problem because they don't have the skills to directly face the society. And we feel all the more protective. We feel we have to do everything for them. Over a period of time, unconsciously, we start protecting them so much that every minute we tell them what to do, how to do, what not to do. Constant instructions are taking charge of their life. Literally, they are an extension of...
Ma'am,
Yes.
audio is not clear, ma'am. Can you
Not-
move closer to your mic or remove your headphones? Yeah.
I'm wearing I'll try to increase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now is it clear?
Now it's better, ma'am.
So,
Yeah.
basically, they become an extension of us. I'm not saying this as a professional. I have a sibling with cognitive difficulties, 70 years old now. I remember my mother would not leave her for a second. All the time at home, she will outsource everything, but constantly she's thinking about her. When they go out, she always holds her hand because she used to have the tendency to run away. Always, even in her absence, my mother's fingers will be clenched, as if she's holding on to her. It was so difficult, but I don't blame my mother. And Mallika was an extension of my mother. She couldn't live without my mother even for a few seconds. It took her almost a year to adapt to my mother not being there. So it's very difficult. It's easily said than done because we feel we have to support our children. But we have to move on because it's difficult. We have to do something constructive for them to become independent. One of the things all parents try, including my parents, is first taking them to doctors. Medically is something possible. We have tried all that. Religious, we have tried. After all that, we come back to education. We feel education will open doors. And tomorrow, they'll have a path for independence is already paved. If they go to school, get a certification. Many of them even go to colleges because we are talking a lot about inclusion now. So we feel once the certification is in our hand, they can be independent. We take them to therapies. So giving them skills and cognitive academic skills and general skills in physical activity and other things, we feel will open doors for them. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Once they become adults and they go to work, they are not able to, survive at work or sustain work for long because they have many other issues. All that comes up then. The ability to handle, demands of the environment, sudden changes, the transition, people around who are so unpredictable and feel valued among people in spite of people judging you. Environment is extremely tough, very competitive. And so it becomes difficult for them to survive in such an environment. And that's when parents come back saying, what do I do with my son? He has done all this, but then I still need to send him to a special environment. Or I have to do something at home, which is in a protected neighborhood. So there are a lot of issues which comes up at this stage. And we have to start thinking about it from very young. We all understand that it is a long journey, but we miss initial parts of the journey focusing on concrete tasks and forgetting about emotional intelligence or emotional scaling, which is the need of the hour, whether it's a child with special needs or any other person. And that is something which is very abstract. Not all, we are not able to get answers. We are not able to get, I can give you all strategies. I can't give you all very specific strategies and say, follow this, and this. Tomorrow he's going to be okay. Because it's so difficult, abstract, and it is very, very different for each individual. Only you know your child the best. But we have to start thinking in those angles. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Today I'm going to talk about how important it is to get them independent and stable emotionally. Yeah, that's a topic today. I'm going to focus more on children or persons or adolescents with autism because they are the ones who find it really, really difficult. There are children who with cognitive processing difficulties who find it difficult, but autism, because anxiety is their core difficulty. They are all the time, from the time they are born, they are anxious, anxiety leading to distress, distress leading to anger, frustration. They live in a world where they are constantly frustrated. It's very difficult for them. Why is it? We don't know, but we know that they process the world differently from what we do. And this too, we only understand from reading certain biographies and not through research. We understand that they process the world totally differently. And we don't understand them, they don't understand us. It's very tricky. I want to share one thing which I read in the net. One individual who prefers to call him autistic. He says, forget about being very polite. I am autistic. It's a personality type. Call me so. He says, logical thinking is how they think, and thinking like us is very difficult for them. He says, you people think very differently. For example, he used to say he had Asperger's and was in a mainstream school. His mother used to say to tighten a screw and loosen a screw. She'll say, turn right, it loosens, left, it tightens. So righty is loosening, left is tightening. He says he never understood that. And his mother used to wonder how he's so intelligent but can't understand this simple instruction. When he grew up, he says he realized that why he didn't understand it. He says a screw is circular, and when one half of the screw is turning right, the other side is turning left. So he says a circular thing cannot turn right and left. It can turn anti-clockwise and clockwise, but not right and left. He says just we think differently, and it frustrates us. Till I understood that, I thought I was dumb. I didn't understand. I had intelligence, but I had a different type of intelligence. So there's a constant frustration and anxiety throughout their lives. And that leads to sensory integration problems. Now there's so much talk about sensory integration. Everybody says, oh, this problem is because of sensory. Sensory issues come because of anxiety. When I'm very anxious, my brain tries to cope with various things, and then any sensory information is exaggerated or it is an overload. You can relate to yourself. When you have a bad headache, you're not able to focus on anything. Does sound bother you more than normal? If somebody has the radio on, you say, please switch it off. I don't want to see the radio. I don't want to hear the noise, or I don't want to see anything visual which is moving fast, lights. Somebody tries to come and talk to you, you say, no, I need silence. I need a dark room where I have to sit by myself till this clears off. So your physical, emotional state and your physical state determines how you process sensory information. For many of our students, their anxiety leads to sensory integration problems, and over a period of time, that again becomes a unique issue. It's so reinforced that they're scared of sounds, they're scared of light, and that becomes an issue in itself. That's the first thing we have to think about. And what do we do to our children? We try to force them, and any coping mechanisms they have, we try to stop them. If they are closing their ears, we say, we don't want them to close their ears. If they are working with their hands or rocking, we say, don't rock. If they are shutting, close their eyes, we say, look at me. But because we don't understand why they are doing that, we call it obsessive compulsive behaviors or idiosyncrasies or whatever we call it. We give it various names. What is the other name we give it? We give various repetitive tasks and all that. See, forget about that. Because I remember one day suddenly, I became sensitive to light. This stayed with me for 1 week. I don't know what happened. None of the neurologists or anybody could tell me. Nothing was wrong with me physiologically, anatomically. But I couldn't open my eyes and see light. Not artificial light, even natural light. I had to shut my eye and I had to wear dark glasses to see through it. Even then I couldn't see. It was such a big problem. For 1 week I couldn't function normally. I had to keep my eyes closed. I tried to stay in a dark room. I tried to wear coolers when I came outside. I realized what it is for a child with sensitivity to light. So sometimes we don't understand. We completely, stop all their coping mechanisms and we force them because we want to make them normal. They are different. We have to understand their processing system is different. The whole world is scary for them. We don't want to make them normal, but we want to understand who they are and allow them to cope with it. All of us go through it. When we don't like something, many of us don't like rides, right? Busy rides. We don't like certain types of food. We may not like somebody driving the car fast. We very clearly tell them, I'm not comfortable with it, please go slow. I don't like this food, make something else for me, or I want to avoid it. But our kids cannot say that. They don't have the communication or emotional stability. The anxiety is so high, even the very little communication or language they have cannot be used to express their distress. You're not aware of it. So they go through a lot of trauma, and over a period of time, they accommodate and adjust. But that adjust is not relaxing. What is relaxing is if you understand them, oh, this is a difficulty for my child. I'm not able to relate to it, but I understand what she or he is going through. And I accept it. That's who he is. He does have a difficulty with all these things. He has fears of all these things. And that acceptance will make him value himself and not feel bad about himself. Many of our students I've seen with autism, adults also, they'll say, I'm sorry, I did this. I'm sorry, na tappu pannite. Because they feel whatever they are is not who they should be. So they're constantly striving very hard to be somebody else whom they are not. And that leads to further frustration, further anxiety. And as they are becoming an adult or adolescent, it just blows out. We are unable to handle their tantrums because they have built it up to a stage where they can't handle it. The first step from when they are young, understand your child. Your therapist will tell you their profile. Tell them this is what, whether they understand language or not, I will try to explain it. And I will see that I also get them strategies to handle whatever their emotions are. I mean, difficulties are. Wear glasses, it's fine. Don't squint your eyes. Maybe I'll give you a dark glasses to wear wherever you go. Maybe I will give you earplugs. If you can't wear earplugs, at least try to close your ears. It's okay when there is very loud sound. I'll warn you when there is a loud sound. I'll try to take you to places where there aren't sounds which bother you. So somewhere adapting the environment, it's easily said than done. But we have to think and go in that path. When you're cooperating with them, telling them that you understand them and give them strategies, they will be able to tolerate things a bit more than what they normally do. That understanding is what is required from parents. Don't be ashamed of what they do. Don't be embarrassed. Fears are natural. I'm terrified of lizards as an adult, as a 66-year-old. If I see a lizard, I will scream and jump and get onto the sofa. I'll call anybody who goes, any stranger, to come in and pick up the lizard and throw it out. I'm scared. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm scared. I'm terrified. It's not logical. Okay, lizards can't do anything to me, but I'm scared. And what have I done to my house? I have put net on all doors and windows. So I get air, but lizards don't come in. My only criterion is somebody is talking, I open the door, I tell them, please come in. Don't stand outside because I don't like to keep the door open. A lizard will come. They laugh at me. I don't care. Because my fear is more important for me than what other people think about me. I understand, I know who I am. And what they think about me is not going to change me. That is something you have to build in your children. It's extremely important that you make them, I understand you, and this is what your fears are. I'm there to support you. Let's together find ways in handling your fears and your sensory, whatever, processing difficulty. Over a period of time, you'll see them adapting to the situation much faster. This is something I really want to tell you because sensory overload is so high that we forget about the anxiety and we look at it as a disorder. The disorder comes because of anxiety. It is aggravated and it is reinforced because of anxiety. And that fear, next time they go to the same place, they're already scared even before they go there. And because they are scared, the symptoms are higher, right? Because the discomfort is already established. That is something we have to remember if they have to be comfortable with the world around them. If they need to know how to handle their sensory overload. They need to know how to handle it. They should, in a strange place also, if the sound is very high, they can have to learn to say, this sound bothers me. Can I use a headphone or use a headphone, which is noise cancelling headphone, and put it over their head? Or just say, this smell is too much for me. Can I go out for a few seconds and come back when it's done? So they have to learn how to express their needs and deal with it. And only parents can teach it from a very young age. No age is early to teach this. I'll start teaching them from 1.5 to 2 years. When they can listen to you. Whether they listen or not, I will start telling them that over a period of time, it will be internalized. That's the first thing. Making them feel accepted and valued. And understanding them. Telling them, I do understand you. This is who you are. I'm not trying to change you. I'm not trying to make you somebody who you're not. Right? That's the first step to prepare them for adulthood. The second step. Any doubts here? Would you like to have some questions in this aspect? Then we will go on to engaging with people, which again is, or would you like me to finish another 5-10 minutes of my talk and then open for questions? That would be better. Okay. The next area we're going to talk about is engaging with people. Again, there is a big problem there. I'm not comfortable with people because people don't understand me. I had a difficulty with my own parents and siblings. Now, how will another person understand me? And we as adults or parents, I mean, all this I have experienced with my sister, right? When guests come, do we call her and make her sit in the hall with us? She'll want to sit. But we'll be scared that she'll do something embarrass us. So we'll say maybe she can be inside. But my father used to insist, no, she has to sit. You have to learn how to deal with that too. So I remember, it's something we have to expose them, because engaging with people is an important skill for adulthood. Cannot be restricted with just family. Most important thing is not to stop him and say, oh, don't do this in front of other people. Don't talk. Sit with your hands on yourself. Don't get up and move around. Don't explore. Two things I will do. I will talk to the adult who's supposed to be more mature in understanding the child. I would say, yeah, he finds it difficult to talk to strangers, but he's comfortable if you leave him on his own. He loves to explore your house as soon as he comes. He wouldn't damage anything, but he likes to go around and explore. Can I take him around once to show things around? So it's okay to tell people and take him to places where he can do that, where you have the liberty to get him to do that. I think that's what we have to choose. Friends who are really close and relatives who understand him and are willing to understand him. If he has a meltdown, it's okay. There is a meltdown. Because anxiety increases, there is a meltdown. I know parents who come home with children, and sometimes, after an hour or two, the parent wants to talk so much to me. The child, I try to see that they don't come with the children, but sometimes they can't leave their children at home. I sometimes take them out so that the kids can play in the playground, but sometimes they are at home and they have a major meltdown. Okay, but you have to be calm about it. The person, even your guest, you have to tell them he'll settle, but he needs the 5 to 10 minutes time, and maybe this will settle him. So we have to wait for the meltdown to go, and for them to understand this leads to a meltdown. I think talking for your child, when he cannot communicate effectively to others. Somebody who can talk and communicate can do that very easily, but when he can't, I have to talk for him initially. Then he'll learn to talk for himself. He has to be comfortable telling people that this bothers him and this is what he wants to do. I've seen children who say, Auntie, I want to go around and see your house. Okay. Teach them to ask permission. Can I open this cupboard? I go around with them. Can I open this cupboard? Can I take water? Okay. Can I open your fridge and see what's in it? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay if they do that in my house, because I know and I give them the space to learn how to do. Sometimes I will tell them, yeah, maybe you can open the fridge, but don't take anything from it. If you want something, you can ask me. I will give you that. Okay, so the ability to first, initially, you have to do that. You have to be the bridge between the stranger and your child. I know it's taking on more responsibilities, but as a parent, I think we enjoy doing it when we see that our children benefit from it. So slowly get him communicate with the extended family, close friends, so that they're able to understand him and they're able to spend a few hours with him even in your absence. I think that is, and you find people who can, for some of them, they love to socialize, but they don't know what to talk about. Some of the students love to talk about trains, about cars, about numbers. Find people who will talk to them about it. It's okay. There may be only two of your friends who talk to him for 10 minutes about cars. It's okay. Find that person. Give him an opportunity to go to that house so that he's engaged, he's talking. Some don't like to talk. They like to be on their own. As long as they're not disturbed and they're given something to work with, they are there. So find what really your child wants and give him that, and make the other guest or person understand your child and see how to greet him or include him in their environment. I think that's very, very crucial, right? And we spoke about all the skills needed: emotional and social security, engagement, and how to handle situations. You're talking about uncertainties. I take him to a doctor. So I think I have to wait only 10 minutes, but you can never say these days, okay, dentist. It takes hours of waiting. Even we lose our patience. Some parents say we take him to a bank or ATM. Again, it's a problem. A marriage or a birthday, again, it becomes an issue. Wherever I go, any social situation, whether it's shops, self-regulation is very difficult even for an adult in today's shops. There's so much around us and it's so attractively displayed. You feel like buying everything. I prefer to shop online than go to a shop because I spend a lot more than what I need to buy. So marketing literally pushes you to buy things which you don't need. And our kids are no exception. They can't handle themselves. I will avoid taking them to such shops and take them to a smaller shop. Or when I'm teaching him how to self-regulate, I should be ready to come away, talk to him, prepare him, what he needs to buy, how he needs to behave. And if he can't do it, I will tell him, you're still not ready to come to a shop, let's go back home. I will not go with an agenda of shopping that day. My only agenda is taking him so that he can learn how to shop. So we have to work on these skills, and we need patience, and we need to be ready to sacrifice. Like I remember the twins in that horror speech they were talking about how her brother got a job, but because the mother can't take both of them to their workspace, he decided to wait till his sister completed her graduation, her engineering. And then she had to wait till both of them got job in the same company.
Yes, ma'am. Rekha and Jayant.
Yeah. Rekha and Jayant. Okay. So it really needs a lot of sacrifice from our part, but the sacrifice leads to something very constructive of our children living independently even after that. So those are things which we have to think about. We have to be prepared to go to a wedding, a cherry, and come back in 5 minutes because he's still not ready to sit there. Slowly, once he gains confidence, he will sit there maybe for an hour or two. But that will take time. We have to wait for it. Until then, we have to expose him to his situations, challenge him, but prepare him before he goes, and be ready to come back when he's not emotionally ready to handle that situation. I think that is something, that flexibility from our side, till our son or daughter becomes independent to handle these situations without much stress. Waiting is tough. I have to see that he has something which engages him, or go with another person who can take him for a walk or drive and then get back on time. We have to think of all this in advance without getting stressed or frustrated ourselves. It's frustrating when you go there and a child throws a tantrum and everybody is looking and asking questions. It's not easy for us. It's very difficult as a parent or an adult. So I would see how I can avoid certain situations and slowly, gradually train my child to be there. And last, I just want to talk about a little calming strategies. To engage in any activity, it's a stress for them. I have seen in all special schools, there are expectations from the child. 40 minutes you have to do this activity, 40 minutes you have to go and do yoga, then you have to work with the physical trainer, then you have to go to dance therapy, and you have to participate there, whether you're tired or not, whether you like it or not. So we are pushing them. When they go to sessions, one-to-one sessions, again they are pushed. Constantly, even a light activity becomes a core for them, because they are not asked whether they are okay with it, whether they need a break, whether it's too much of an overload for them. They stay in school for the whole day where it's an overload, and evening again they go for classes. How can I handle it? He doesn't have the skills to tell you that he can't handle it. And that again increases the pressure and more tantrums, more behaviors. I'm very happy that I think Mr. Guru Prakash said that one of the parents, I think it's Mr. Guru Prakash, said that he can only stay for 1.5 hours in school, and so that's okay. Some days he doesn't go to school. Yeah, it depends on how ready I am there to go and handle that pressure in a school of so many children around me, teachers telling me what to do, somebody forcing me to do things which I'm not comfortable with. The whole thing becomes such a stressful thing. And we feel it's not a stress, it's such a natural environment, they're so happy, they're doing different things. No, but expectation is always a stress for children with autism. And when they don't confine to your expectation, that is also a stress. They can't do something wrong. They'll say, tapu pannite, they'll hide, they'll strike it, they'll rub. And the whole day they're talking about, I made a mistake, I did this, I did this, I did this. Because that is the expectation we have conveyed to them. That they can't make mistakes, that they can't do this. They can't close their eyes, they can't rob, they can't go out of classroom, they have to engage. It's so much stress for them. So let me be very clear with my goal. Am I working on him being engaged in an activity for a short period with full engagement and enjoying that activity, or being engaged the whole day so that he can learn something and do it effectively? How many of us can weave? Can we do, weaving or carpentry or, all the exercises they do in an OT room? We don't do it. Even yoga, whatever we do, physical exercise, one day we are tired, we say, hey, I'm not going to do it today. I'm really bored, I think I need a break from this. Are we giving our children the break? We are frustrating them. And they are unable to cope with it. From the beginning, if we understand this, and we tell them, for me, the true aim is he has to engage, but certain days he is not ready to be engaged, it's okay. The goal is not to learn now, he can learn over a period of time. But what I need is ability for him to understand when I can engage and learn, when I need a break, and what do I do in these breaks? Are there certain activities which I can do without disrupting the others? I have to calm myself. Every 15 minutes I need a break. How can I do that? Can I integrate this into my daily routine? One of the things we found, some adults, we taught them foot soaking and foot massage. Okay, soaking their feet in warm water, putting a nice fragrance there like vanilla, which calms. And and if necessary, a scrubber and scrubbing their legs and just sitting like that for 15 minutes. It really helps them to calm. In a school, why not bring that once or twice a day? And at home, can't we do that? Can't we teach them to do that? All the students learn to do it. And the best part is even foot massage was taught to them. And two adolescents realized that they can do it for each other. So when they see each other stretch, they started saying, hey, come, let me do a foot massage for you. So they found a way to calm themselves or even calm another person, taking responsibility for my peer who is agitated, identifying and supporting him. That is amazing. That is a pure quality of an adult. Empathizing, understanding, and being sensitive and supporting a peer. So it happens when we give them the means. Ayurveda actually gives you quite a lot of, maybe Archana should get techniques like this which are calming, which an adult or child can do for himself and for others. Ayurveda actually gives you a lot of options. Cooking. We taught young adults and adolescents to make, simple dishes like maybe chukku kashayam or some other tea, herbal tea, simple things. And also cooking a breakfast, a simple meal. Now you have these fancy, cookers, which electronic cookers, where you just have to put everything, switch it on, and your food is made. So we taught them in that, and we find that some of them, parents said at home when the mother was sick, they asked her whether she wants a drink, a kashayam or some hot drink which she wants, so that she feel comfortable. It makes them sensitive and makes them feel valued. I make the dish and I give it to my mother. My mother is so appreciative of me. Otherwise, constantly somebody is doing something for me. I'm not doing anything for others. I feel valued when I reach out to somebody and that somebody recognizes that I'm reaching. And I think we have to give them that training and opportunity to do that. Not as a core. The moment you say it is your responsibility, you have to make tea every day, it's gone. Do I do that? Most of the housewives are frustrated because they have no choice but to cook every day. If I can get up in the morning and say, I'm in no mood for cooking, can somebody else take charge of cooking today? I'm so happy. We are not given that luxury. Okay, many of us don't have that luxury. But let us give the children that luxury. He says, today, no, I don't feel like cooking. But when he is in a mood, we say, let's all cook together. You decide on a dish. Let's go shopping for that dish. We'll buy the stuff and we'll come back and cook together and set the table. Why the table has to be set up? Why do I like to go to hotels? Because of the ambience and the control they have. Give them that control and create that ambience. Take your crockery which you have for guests every weekend. And let's say, let's cook a meal. You decide on the dish, we'll cook and we will display and we'll eat together with soft music playing background. Create that ambience, give them that control and make them feel valued. I think that's the most important thing. By reaching out to you. There are a lot of calming activities. If they like listening to a music, teach them to create a file in their computer where they delete and add songs which they like. Maximum of 3 songs. Otherwise, that also will be troubling for them. They have too much choice also, they won't know how to choose. Let them choose, delete. If they want only one song, let them have that one song which they can listen. Give them that. Or they want to just go out and be with themselves for some time, give them that space to do that. If they want to cook and eat something, give them that space to do that. Cooking is something I really find calms them majorly. But they have to cook to eat. They have to cook what they like and eat it. It really calms them. Find cooking. So find a lot of activities, like I told you, foot massage and other things which can calm them. It really, they understand that I need break, I have to take break, and they know how to engage themselves. Most of the time, parents are very stressed because they don't know how to, they don't have me time. They're constantly with their children. They can't be for some time alone because they're so dependent. They call you for everything. They are so, dependent on your approval of how things have to be done. Make them, give them a relief and you get a relief. Let them feel that they can function independently. They don't need your approval. They're okay to make mistakes. All of us make mistakes. Let him be aware of it. Hey, I made a mistake. I dropped this. Let me clean it up. Talk about it when you do that. Don't get frustrated. Talk about it. See that everybody at home makes mistake. And what do we do when we make a mistake? We try to rectify it. We try to clean it. We try to restore the environment to back it was. There are days when I'm extremely angry and I'm extremely frustrated. I need my space. I go back and tell everybody at home, something is bothering me. I'm angry today. I'm distressed today. I want my own space. I want to just listen to music. Please don't disturb me. Your son or daughter will learn to say that to you. And they will understand that my mother or father needs this attention today. Because they give me the space, I can give them that space. And they will learn to find strategies to calm themselves and engage themselves better. There are many things I have said. I don't want to say too many things also, because this whole talk is not to give you strategies, because there are tons of people to give you strategies. It's also available on the net, it's available in books, you have parent organizations, you have professionals. But I want to reorient your thought process in a direction, different direction, to understand just one training or constantly training them in skills and academics is not enough. From a very, very young age, I have to train them to deal with their emotions, understand their emotions, find things which calm them, and deal with the pressures of the society. And be who they are, not to change them. Understand and make the society understand them and allow them to be there, but in a very secure space, in a happy thing, and living independently. There are limitations, it's okay. There are so many of us have limitations in our life. Don't we accept it? Don't we live along with it? Don't we feel good about who we are in spite of all our limitations? So what? It doesn't matter who we are. What is there in the world? Nothing. Achievement is nothing. Today we are working. I know so many youngsters today who say, I don't want a job which pays. I just want to be engaged in a job where I feel good about it, where I enjoy it. I don't want money. I know so many people who have been earning, so high salaries, leave their jobs and come to spirituality. Why? When they're in a prime age, 30, 35. They say, I'm done with all this. I just want to understand myself, know who I am, and be in peace with myself, and maybe seek a higher energy. Whatever their goals are. It's okay. People will judge. It doesn't matter. Are we accepting our kids as who they are? I think that's the most important thing in life. It's not easy. It's a journey. But that journey leads us to support our kids and for them to appreciate the support and the space we have given them. And that is important in life. I'm also saying this out of experience because my daughter also chose to be more of a spiritual person than what the word calls a high achiever. She is very intelligent, but she chose spirituality, and whatever work she's doing, she says, is just to sustain myself and keep myself little occupied. That's it. It was difficult for me to accept that. As a mother, I want her to be like any other child. But accepting. Now, she's such a mature individual. I'm so proud of her. She's supporting so many people. And she says, Amma, it's because of the space you gave me. And I tell her that it wasn't easy. Even now, it's not easy. Certain decisions she takes bothers me. I'm scared. But I think it's her life and not mine. I think at some stage, we have to trust that our children have potential and we have to work towards it. And we all know that if you want to have an academic degree, you have to work for 2 decades. If we needed even 3 decades. A lot of hard work, and only then we get there. The same way, even being an adult, the emotional maturity to be an adult, the decisiveness to be an adult, again, to actually feel good about yourself and feel valued and accept yourself for who they are is a long journey. It has to start from a very young age. It has to go in tangent with the academics in school and physical activity and therapy and all that. Many of us feel this is concrete and important and we ignore this, and suddenly at 15 we expect our children suddenly to become adults. I feel, why isn't he being independent? Why is he so dependent on me? I have no time for myself. I'm growing old. I can't handle this. Did we think about it when he was 2 years old? And that's what we need to do. We have to think about understanding him, making him understand himself, come up with strategies to cope, get him engaged and develop a relationship with people who are very close to us and who can accept him as he is, and allows him a lot of situations, how to train him to cope with situations uncertainties of situations, and learn a lot of calming strategies, which is the most important thing for your anxiety. Calming strategies and ability and communication enough to say, I need this, whether it's verbal or non-verbal. I need this, I need a break, I need to do this. Just they can mention the activity, it's enough. One word communication or even showing a picture is enough. I need this. And then they will grow into adults who are slightly independent. And most of the calming techniques we are seeing are life skills. Going outside, maybe talking to people about what they love to talk about. Be going to a simple gym and at least using the elliptical stepper and a mechanical treadmill. Or, learning to cook and eat whatever they want. Simple skills, learning to relax, learning to few activities which are fun-loving for me, recreation, all those are life skills. But you're preparing him for a life with an adult, with maybe people who are close to him, who can also support him, or if capacity is there, living independently also with a group of people. I have been talking, I think, for almost an hour, I think. I'll stop here, and I want questions and comments.
So the floor is open for questions.
Ma'am, I have just one question. How do you find out, there's actually some renovation going on, how do you find out what these children like? Like my son is 17, I'm still not able to find out his area of interest. So how do you find out that?
It's not easy when he's 17. I should have started working on that very early in age, because most of the time we put them into activities we think is right for them. We don't give them an opportunity to find what they like, right? So our whole focus has been in that. Now suddenly we are realizing that we have to look at what actually interests them. It's difficult, but if you really observe and see, what are the things which really calm him? Those are the things which he likes. You have to now start observing him. It's like doing research. I will observe him over a period of time. Maybe I have a journal and note down what are the things which actually calms him and engages for a short while without anxiety.
Sorry. Actually, the things that calm him is like stitching, or like he loves to play with clay or paper and things like that. But my question is, in the long run, I mean, now that he's going to become an adult, how is that going to help him? Is basically, how is he going to, I mean, in the long run, how will these activities make him, independent and look after himself? There's something like he needs to do more than this, I thought. I mean, that's what I think. I don't
see, you are aware of activities which calm him, which again is very important as he's growing as an adult. But we have to see how he can structure or calm himself with those few activities. You're saying he can do stitching, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's an activity which you can really look into. If he's into stitching, maybe he would also like weaving. Okay, we have to start looking whether we can get a small weaving frame and he can do it, calms him. But it is also an activity which can be an occasional skill which he can learn and work from home, right? Or in a small community which does that, where we who understands him. So even if there's one skill I have identified, and maybe clay could be something which he can work at home in peace to calm himself. I'm not going to look at the product he does, but just handling clay gives him that peace which he needs at the end of the day. So that could be an activity of calming, and you could think of one, stitching is an amazing thing. So can we spread it a little bit more to weaving, which again is very similar to that. Simple weaving, not that one which has a large weaving frame, a smaller weaving. So we have to look at the strengths. Even if it is one, I'm happy with it. If we look traditionally, these are the skills which lead to a profession or a vocation, we are lost. We are not looking from his angle, we are looking from our angle. So look through his eyes. Now you've got, in 2 minutes you know what he likes and what calms him. If we look further, we will find out things which calm him, and I will make him independent at home. I will see that if he likes these two, I'm sure he'll enjoy cooking. But I have to make it more convenient. I mean, construct the environment to buy materials which are easy for him to handle, and see that he does it. So that he can make a meal for himself, he can calm himself, and he has an activity he can engage in 2 or 3 hours a day, which can also fetch some revenue or interaction with people.
Okay.
In Facebook or something, he can have this thing of whatever he has made, the small scarves he has made through weaving, and he can interact with people through that.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, our perspective and the direction of what we look at has to change. I didn't get your name.
I'm Vishal's mother, Sharmila, actually.
Sharmila. Yeah, Sharmila.
Sharmila.
So we can start looking at it and you will find your answers. Definitely you will find answers. But look at a
Okay.
different direction.
And another thing is, he always, only with me, that is, he always, like you said, approval. He wants me to be there, always approving him. Though, I mean, it's like I've been telling him for long, like he knows a lot of things, he can do it by himself, but he insists on me being beside him, just being there.
Like I told you from the
So,
beginning, that's what we have done, because we expect perfection. We always say, do this, do it this way. From a very young age, we have been
yeah, right.
supporting and instructing them.
Yeah.
Now, suddenly, we want them to be independent, and they are used to being dependent. We can work on it even now, but it's a long journey. And if you want strategies, you can get in touch with people who can give you those strategies to foster independence. Or maybe even when you have time, I can talk to you personally and tell you.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, fine.
No, as a professional, I don't do assessment or anything, but I'm there to support parents. You call me once
Okay.
in a while, we can talk about what we can do.
Okay, actually, I've discussed with the school also already,
Yes,
so
yes.
I've done that
You
as
have to talk to professionals, but it's possible, but it's not going to be easy because
Yeah.
something that neural pathways are already done.
well.
Looking at you is one of the activity of completion. Okay, so that has to vanish. It's tough.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Hello,
Yes, Supriya ma'am. Go ahead.
this is Supriya.
Hi, Supriya.
This is Supriya. My son is Arjun. He is 14 years old, ma'am. He's into a small group now. Um, he's actually self-regulated. Last year he was learning that time, and now he's okay. And he's self-regulated inside the class.
Okay. How
Once
old
the
is he?
class is over,
How old is
14,
he?
14.
Okay.
Inside the class, he's like a darling of the class, and even at home, he's up to the mark. Whatever we say, he not obeys. We are not into a instruction mode, but still he converses with us in a very regular manner. But because of the self-regulation, what he made with himself inside the class, it is actually after the class, for a period of 5 to 10 minutes, he couldn't control himself. In the sense, he wanted to talk something to me, and when I was talking with other parents during that period, he holds my hand, and he just wanted to talk something else, which is not at all relevant at that time. I don't have.
No,
Just
Supriya.
after 3 minutes, he's okay. After 5 minutes, he's okay.
He has been through the day, like I told you, he has been coping a lot with the demands of the environment. He's doing things which he's not comfortable with, right? It leads to a little bit of anxiety and stored up, tension. When he comes out, he wants to release everything, and you are the only person he can release it to. And at that time, if you are talking to somebody, he's not able to understand and regulate. I think we as an adult can understand him and tell him, whatever, when you're talking to parents, the moment he comes out, I'm going to be with you. Okay, I'll listen to all that he talks. And then in 5 minutes he's sorted. Let me be, or I go earlier and talk to parents and not when he comes out. So I think we also have to understand that he needs that. He doesn't have the capacity to say, or he doesn't know anybody else whom he can release his, and he's just talking. He just needs you to listen to him. And I
just wanted to talk because he's very fond of cinema, film related things, and he'll talk something not at all related to that.
don't worry about that. He wants to talk is releasing his pent up energy or stress. That is the only thing. It may not be oriented, it may not be a topic of conversation, and you are the one person who can understand it. So I will give him that 5 minutes for accommodating for 5 hours staying in a school effectively. Give him the 5 minutes and say, yeah, this 5 minutes is for you. The moment you come out, I'm going to be with you. Tell him that and give him that time. He'll be calm, and over a period of time, he'll be able to give you the space. Over a period of time. I'm not saying how long. It might take months, days, years, but he will be able to give you that. And that's your success. Yeah. Waiting. Appreciate what he is now. He's able to handle school, he's able to be relaxed at home, function at home. This is one area where he needs to release this and bring him a lot of calm in our teach him a lot of calm and see what his interests are and develop his recreation. Don't force him too much into classes. Classes are not recreation.
Yeah.
Not everybody can learn skating or what is that? Roller skates or swimming. Some of us like swimming for stone. Just floating is okay in the water, maybe everybody will enjoy. But asking me to swim and immediately it becomes competitive, comparative. Allow me to. It's okay if they're not master of all trades. I am not too. Yeah, so accommodate and give them that 5 minutes first from your side.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Ma'am, we have a question from Ms. Rajeshwari.
Okay.
She says, children in their adolescence are not willing to do anything. They are not cooperative. So how do we handle them? Handling adolescent.
Rajeshwari.
Yes,
You need more time for that because again the same thing, right? Understanding the child and going through so much of stress and anxiety. First, we have to find out what is bothering him and how do we handle that, and how do we give him the space to understand himself and come up with strategies to handle his stress. It's a long journey, Rajeshwari, and we will work together. Are you looking very tired? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just recovering, ma'am.
What happened?
I had some issues. I will.
Then meet. I'll meet you sometime next week, yeah?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Take care. And I think you'll find answers soon. But we have to keep working at it.
I know you're supporting whatever you could do. Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
Mainly, no, what was my question? I think he was interested in so many things.
Yes.
Okay, drawing, keyboard, so listening to songs, so many things were there, interest. So he had a wide fit of things to go to. Now suddenly in last 2 years and since he doesn't want to do any of those. It's like he is excluding those things by himself and constantly going into that worry mode. So I'm thinking he's not even using what is there in his.
No, that's so true. That's so true. See, the anxiety, and it keeps building up with age. And in adolescence, with other issues, hormonal issues, they're not able to handle it. And the anxiety goes to a crescendo where they have certain belief systems that this has to be done this way, this is good, this is bad. It's something we have conveyed to them unconsciously. The world around them has conveyed to them. And now they're not able to handle it. So we really have to work on it. They're not calm enough to deal with edges.
Yeah.
But our priority now is that calmness and ability to handle my stress. The moment I know how to handle it, I break that. Then all my interest will come back. It's not going anywhere. But unless I break this anxiety, find ways to deal with it, I'm not going to get back to my interest. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it's so crucial to think about this from, it has to go in tangent with your education and learning. From a very young age, we have to think of emotion.
Yeah.
That is something which we have to, that's why now the younger parents or younger children should start thinking about it intently. They miss it when they are young and think about it when they get older. I'm not saying that it's difficult now, much more difficult than teaching them when they are young.
Yeah. Definitely. Actually, a lot of things made sense. As you said, from young age to build so many things,
Yes.
Those things really make sense. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Rajeshwari. Anybody else?
Ma'am, we have one question from Meenakshi P. Vishwanathan saying, Hi ma'am, my son is 13 and he recently has started hitting others for no reason. He thinks it's fun and he doesn't understand the consequences.
Hi Meenakshi, I can see you. Yeah. Where is he? What does he do, your son? Does he go to a center or a school? I can't hear you, you have to unmute.
Ma'am, you're on mute. Please unmute, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. This is Pranav's mom. You remember me, ma'am? Kuti Pranav from Mira.
Yeah.
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 Recently, I mean, he's on seizure medication, and for the past 1 year, he has started hitting others. He thinks it's just fun. I mean, he doesn't understand that the other person will get pain and things like that.
We have to explore further Meenakshi, because it could be that's his form of communication. He wants to communicate, and maybe he has learned that that's the way he is to communicate because he's seen other people do it.
Okay, I mean, he hits the weaker people like me and the small children or elderly people and things like that. He doesn't hit strong people like his dad and uncle.
Have we hit him sometimes to control him? Have we used that as a technique to control him when he was young?
Actually, we don't hit him, but he has seen people hitting others, I think. So, I'm not sure he has got hit from other children in his class. So, I'm not sure.
We have to work on it. It could be a frustration if he's finding out, people who are a little younger than him and his mother, he's expressing his frustration. I don't think it's communication. He's communicating saying, I'm frustrated. And he finds, that's a release. Now we have to find out how to release that emotion through other things. We have to again and again it comes back to calming himself. The more calming activities you give, and more he is involved in activities which are not a pressure. He's not expected to do it perfectly. That pressure is taken away, and he's given a lot of calming activities and a routine at home to do. All that will automatically stop. Some of the things, like this behavior, we need not work on it directly. That doesn't help. Indirectly, I have to bring on other strengths which will help him overcome this behavior. Why is it coming? It's because of frustration. Why is the frustration coming? Maybe he's overwhelmed. Most of the time he's overwhelmed.
No, even today he wanted to go for a fitness class, but he was not well, so we didn't send him. And he got so angry and started shouting.
Same. Frustration, handling frustration. See, we're talking about handling frustrations here. So handling, tension, anxiety, frustration, all that we have to teach. I have the language. I'll tell him, I know you're very disappointed that you can't go to this class because you love to go. I'm going to give him an alternative and see how we can work on it. I think you have to ask him, where is he going now?
School he is going to APL.
APL. Okay, Pranav. I saw Pranav the other day. I will be coming to APL. Maybe we can come up with strategies for that.
Okay.
Cannot be answered so fast. Yeah. Yeah, I saw Pranav the other day. Yeah. We will meet Meenakshi. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody
Ma'am,
else?
we have one more question from Shilpa Prem, one of our parents, saying that her 9-year-old son is more interested in toys, and is it okay to let him play with toys because her parents and people think she's doing something wrong? He lines up his toys, his imagination level is really good. He breaks the toys, fixes it with something else and makes a toy out of it. So he's very innovative. Is it okay to let him play with toys, or is it something wrong?
It's not wrong, because I think one of the things, like you rightly said, is very creative. He likes to put things together to make something new. It's a skill, right? And he enjoys doing it, and it calms him. So he has found a technique to express his interest and also calming. Slowly you can expand. See, if he is doing it through the day, then it's a problem. Or for many hours, then it's a problem. We have to find where he has other activities, and he's given opportunity to do this too. And grow, slowly expand it to putting other things together. A Lego, if you start with a Lego, and then find and give odd things and see whether you can construct something. Slowly make a varied activities with the same skill. Focus on the skill, not the activity. Yeah, is it Shilpa?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. This is Shilpa here. Ma'am, he does, of course, he with Lego also he does, and I have started with this Smartivity. It has, they have wonderful, toy creation. It's very good, ma'am. The Smartivity thing is very good. He is fond of that also. He does that, but still he wants to go back to that 2-year-old, toy and do what. I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong by giving him that. So people are like, oh, what are you doing to your child? He's 9 years old and you're still letting him play. So
How
like,
long does he engage in that activity?
just maybe about 10 minutes. But when we go out, the only thing he looks at is the toys. It's like 2, 3 years old toys. He's so fond of. That's why sometimes it scares me. I'm like, it's okay at times, but when people tell me, Shilpa, you're not doing something, you're doing something wrong here. You're pulling back your child. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to check with somebody.
Relax as long as he is not obsessed by it and he looks at it as something he enjoys and he is able to look at other activities which are related to it. And those are higher activities, constructing things and other things. Don't worry, because while we see adults in the US having a teddy bear and talking to it and hugging it when they're 25, 30 years old, 40 years old, what's wrong? As long as it is not, the world may not look at it properly, tell them that's okay. He likes it and he does it in the safety of his house. Right? It's okay with that. I give him the opportunity to know, and gradually maybe as he grows an adult and he's exposed to more activities, he'll overcome it. So I think first you have to accept, that's what I told you, you have to be their emissaries, and introduce them on why they are doing it and justify it for others. Tell them that's okay, he's just not, he engages in it for 5-10 minutes and that's good. And he doesn't miss it when we go out. So that's perfectly alright. Yes, when he goes out and he sees a toy, he wants to explore it. So that's okay.
And yes, of course, if we're traveling anywhere, apart from his clothes, he's got a big bag of his toys. So wherever I go, I need to carry the big load of toys also.
No, those are things you can say. No, that's slowly work on it, saying that we can't carry such a bag. Just carry one toy which you feel is precious. Every time you go, you can select the choice. Or you give the choice of 2 dogs. Initially, it's very difficult. You can't empathize with them and say, I know it is very difficult for you to choose 2 from all this. You feel like carrying everything with you. But the general rule is when we travel, we just stick to say, my Amma is often taking one thing she really likes to do. You take one thing, Amma takes one thing. And slowly over a period of time, teach them to wean away from this habit of lugging it. Okay, just take one. One is for comfort level, and that comfort level we want to retain that in. Okay,
All right.
that is an area you can work on. Okay?
Sure.
Look at it as a strength and how we can expand, but also teach him to not be dependent on it.
All right, ma'am. Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Are we overshooting the time? Is it okay if we go?
It's perfectly fine, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Rama here.
Yeah, Rama.
My daughter is 10 years old, Vaishnavi. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Ma'am, within this 10 years period, she has, usually we used to choke while eating, right? Sometimes. So while choking, her lips gone bluish and her eyes gone upside. So that I have experienced this 4 times out of this 10 years journey. So I took her to an ENT doctor. So the rest of the thing, her tongue, eyes, all ENT related things seems to be normal. There is no issue with it. But this happens. So this last time, 6 months before it happened, and that was highly, I was so scared by witnessing that. What doctor said is it may happen very rarely, so you should be very cautious, monitor her on regular basis. So whenever it happens, there is no treatment for that, there is no medicine or treatment, nothing is available for that. You have to be very cautious, feed her. Our kids are very poor in multitasking. When the kid is eating parallelly watching a TV, when the kid is laughing while eating or while drinking water while eating, so such times this sort of chokings will happen. Obviously, it will happen to any person for that matter. So for our case, we will continuously cough so that whatever particle is there in the pipe, it will get removed automatically. So we will be free within a few minutes of time. Few minutes we will have that suffering and we will be free about it. There is no extraordinary level of danger involved in it. Whereas in her case, very rarely such thing happens, and I'm so scared. For a few seconds, her lips are getting blue, face are going in a different direction. She is suffering like as if a fish is taken out of water, it will suffer for a survival, right? So she is suffering something like that. Yeah, what I'm asking is the ENT doctor told me like there might be some reflex related stuff for these special kids. Like these kids can't do multitasking while four times this has happened, and the four times this happened while she was watching TV and taking food. One time while eating and then parallelly drinking some water while walking and eating. So such time it happened. Being a kid, we can't educate her. You have to continuously, because see, this eating process happens throughout the day. Throughout the day, snacks, including snacks and having a milk. Say 4 to 5 times we have we'll take meals in a day. So every time continuously monitoring her, educating her is highly difficult. The kids always, yeah,
Yeah, I got whatever you're saying. One of the things is it looks like a medical problem. It's not a special needs problem, like because it happens very regularly. You're saying many times.
No, not regularly. So far
No,
it
not
has
regularly.
happened.
4 or 5 times in 10 years is quite
Yeah.
a thing. I think you can also consult a neurologist, a pediatric neurologist, to see whether there's any issue there. Okay,
Whom should I approach? Because I myself, I don't know whom to approach. I consulted ENT doctor. Like whom should
a
I?
neurologist, a pediatric neurologist is better. I don't know. I'm not in touch with many of them. I know Dr. Vishwanathan,
Okay.
who has a clinic in Thiruvanmiyur. There must be a few more. Vishwanathan is the doctor I know. He's a pediatric neurologist.
Child Trust Hospital, right?
Yeah, he was in Child Trust. Yeah, I think
Child
maybe
Trust
he's
Hospital.
even now. So somewhere,
Okay.
if you look into that, then you will get a
Neurological, pediatrician, neurological, right?
Yeah, pediatric neurologist. Yeah, a neurologist who looks at young children.
Okay, okay. And
Conditions. And the second one is, we are talking constantly, not only for our children, for all of us, about mindfulness. When we are doing an activity, focusing only on that activity. So, as a family, you can decide that meals have to be without the TV or without walking, sitting in the dining table and eating together, not watching the TV, walking.
Yeah.
And generally, they advise during a meal, don't drink water. You drink before you start a meal, or 15 minutes after you finish the meal. You drink water. You don't drink water when you're eating. These are few things which has come up now. And mindfulness is something when you're doing an activity, the focus is on the activity. When we go to a hotel, we sit and we eat, right? Why is it not happening at home? So can we make some sort of changes at home so that it becomes easier for her to eat?
okay, ma'am. Is there any center or any therapy sort of thing which can deal with reflex related exercises?
A doctor there. I don't know.
Definitely, I'll consult.
Doctor might advise you. If there is whatever exercises you need or support you need, will be given by him. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
I don't think we are equipped to give advice there. Okay, what I can
No,
say
I'm asking for a reflex related therapy.
I don't know anybody.
Uh,
The doctors would maybe able to.
okay, okay,
But bring in this concept of mindfulness when you're eating as a family.
okay. Concentrating, focusing on eating alone.
That activity alone, no doing
Okay.
something else when eating. Okay, just
Okay.
eating. All of it together, make it a habit in your family. For all
Okay.
the children, I think that's very, very crucial and important that we bring in such systems. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
I request all of you to switch on your cameras so that I can take a pic. So
And I would like to see you too.
all of you. Chitra Devi, can you please? Yeah. Shamla ma'am,
Hi, Sanjay.
Meenakshi ma'am. Yeah.
I'm Mallika, ma'am.
Hi, Sanjay. We'll see you soon. I'll come to school on Thursday.
Abhirami ma'am, can you please switch on your
I think
cameras?
two of them.
Yeah. Shamla ma'am and Abhirami ma'am, please.
Yeah.
Please switch on your video, Abhirami ma'am.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, sure.
Nice seeing you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, could you please move back? Can I can't see.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Once more. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Archana. All I know I like to spend more time with you all. Here we have a time meditation. We'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I take this opportunity to thank our guest speaker, Ms. Mallika ma'am, and thank you very much ma'am for instantly accepting my invitation, and in spite of your busy schedule, spending so much time with us.
Yeah, Archana, it's a pleasure. I have seen Archana from this age when she was few years old, right? 4, 5 years. Archana's mother studied with me. We were in the same batch when we did special ed. Long back. I think it was 80s, 89. So, it's a pleasure to see you conducting this and me being part of it.
Experience having you for our session as well. So, as I was saying, our forthcoming activities are of long importance. So, if you want to know about either the accessible trip or the home empowerment services or the social interaction center that are in the offing, please contact 786 888 0000. That is 786 888 0000, and you can touch base with our customer service. Thank you very much, and please like, share, and subscribe to our social media channels. And this is Archana signing off. Take care. Bye bye. Till I meet you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Archana. Mallika ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.